Good morning. Good morning. I'm continuing on with this book this morning. When we stopped yesterday, we had the cardboard glued down to our fabric. And I need the hole puncher again. I thought we already did these, but apparently we didn't. Just sharpening up my scissors so I can take and cut these apart. Oh, you won't be able to finish these up today, but I do have some others over here that I can finish up, and then I can show you the next step after this, because I am going to have to do some more gluing, and I normally don't like to put it together until all the glue dries because I don't like the pages sticking together. You can't rush the art. You can't rush the art. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Doing my version of a book. I started this yesterday and probably should have had a little bit of stuff done in between so that I could just flow right on through, but we can go all the way through today. Just getting some coffee there. All right. Move some of this stuff out of our way so that we can cut this. And I'm going to trim these down as well because they are a little wide. Get them all the same size. And it wants to move around on me. Don't do that. Doesn't have to be super perfect. It just needs to be the same width all the way down, and it's not. Fix it. One at a time. There we go. It doesn't have to be super perfect because, again, this is going to get covered in fabric and you won't see it. So we're going to cut this little piece off here. And then we will get on with it so you all can see what you came to see. I got to also find out which way I did these holes because I need to punch holes in those pieces, those little thin strips you just saw me cutting. All right, now I want to be in the middle. All right. So we're going to set this one to the side for now. Pull out our hole puncher. See exactly how I had this positioned in here to punch these holes. I think I had it the other way, which is going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah, I think for this one, I am going to, don't know where the hand punch is. Let's see. No. And what I will do is We're going to trim this super close because again we're getting a binding on this, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this edge but leave the other edges. Now I can get my hole puncher in there so I can punch the holes again in the fabric so that my dowels will go through, and I will have to go through and cut those off in the back because sometimes they punch all the way out, sometimes they don't. Alright, on the other side you can see we have the holes in there for the dowels to go through. And we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Just a little bit hard to do this way. Take care of that edge so we can get into there. And again, just with the hole puncher, put a hole in that fabric where we have the holes punched. And sometimes we get stuck. I'm going to punch a bigger hole. There we go. Snip that one off. I don't think we really snipped it, but I'm going to get that one back and out of the way. So our dowels will go through there. Let's hope. Yes, our dowels will go through there, and that's what holds our paper in between our book pages. All right, so we've got that done. I need to match these up as well and get the holes punched in them. Let's see if we can't do it this way a little better. I just have to hold it fixed there. Like that. Come over here and grab us a pin. Color right in those circles. And that'll make sure that we punch these holes in the same spots. There we go. Go. Now we have the holes for this one. We're going to lay that with this one. All right, yep. Now let's check and see if it'll do the same with this one. We have to turn it around the other way. So yes, we can use this one to do the holes in the other one. Got to make sure that we got them lined up on the ends. And we will come in here and we will... Oh, that's hard to see. All right, there's one. There's two. hard to see in this light. There we go. And we got the holes punched for our binding. We can set those to the side. I also have to punch holes into these, and we are going to do it the exact same way. Except I'm going to do it like I did the first one. These are my cover pages. To go inside our book. And way out of camera frame again. I just used my book cover to mark the holes that I need to punch on my inner cover pages. Keep these together proper. And we'll punch the holes in there. There we go. Both our cover pages. And I hope that I just did not mess that up. I might have. Turn it away. Okay, that one matches with that one. At least they're both the same on the same side. We're good to go. Good to go. So our holes all match up. Now, we have all of our holes done. We're going to trim this up a little bit more because we are going to turn this in and glue it. So we don't need to glue all of this. We just need a little lip around the edge. I don't know why it says everybody's joining, but it doesn't say that I have anybody in my room. I don't know why. I'm going to get my other scissors because even though I just sharpened these are not fabric scissors. My kids know when they see these scissors, they're not allowed to use them for anything. These are my fabric scissors. And they cut through fabric like going through hot butter. I love them. Cut this other end. I'm not making any measurements because there's really, at this point, no measurements to be made. Just trimming this down a little bit to make it easier to glue this to the cardboard here. We're going to do the same thing with this other one. That way we can just go through and glue all at one time. I'll leave about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of fabric to fold over and glue. And then I do let it set for a full 24 hours before I go any further with it. Because I want to make sure that the glue dries very well and that we don't have our pages sticking together. Sorry about that. Another sip of coffee. Okay. Now we want to make sure that we're staying in frame here. I've got puppies at my feet. I move things around so I can be a little closer to the table. All I'm going to do is take my trusty little Mod Podge paintbrush. I rinse this out every time with warm water, and I use it over and over again. And matte Mod Podge, because I didn't want the book covers to be really glossy. I did have, you can see here, the fabric is glued on. It still has a fabric feel to it. It's not real, you know, hard like it would be if you put Mod Podge on the outside. So it works to hold it down. So we are going to, and hopefully, I never even thought about this. Oh, I lucked out. Both of the things are right side up. And everything matches, so I won't have one upside down. But when I did glue it, I did lay it out like this. So it should have been fine. But I just thought about that. Oh my goodness, what if one of these pages were glued on upside down? Morning, home hooking. Morning. Welcome, Heather. So at this point, I'm going to glue these down. And I might try to tip this down just a tiny bit more. That way I don't have to work so far away across my desk. So, what I do, open up my Mod Podge. And I did find a recipe online to make homemade Mod Podge with flour and sugar and water and vinegar. I'm going to try it out. I will let y'all know if it works or not. If it does work, I will be making my own Mod Podge. So I have tried the Elmer's glue and water, and it doesn't work so well. I really don't like it too much. Now, one other thing that I forgot to do that we're going to have to do real quickly so that this glue or Mod Podge doesn't get too tacky. I cut the corners off. So that way when I fold it up, I don't have so much bunchy in the corners. Don't cut your fingers, Mel. So, cut the corner like this. And then I always pull this tight and work it down like this. Now on this part, if I want to, I can put the Mod Podge on the fabric here because it is going to get covered up with our inner page, the pretty decorative page that's on the inside the front cover of the book. So that is down like that, and we're just going to hold that for a second to allow that grab and that fabric to just kind of hold on there for a minute. Still kind of tacky coming through, but it's okay. Now it's nice and secure there, so we can go ahead on with the next side. And again, I'm going to go ahead and cut this other corner so that we don't have to stop mid-glue. I still leave a tiny little bit here. But again, we're going to cover that up, and I'll show you how and what we use to cover that up with. And I need to mop up a little bit of this glue before I get it all over the cover. And we have issue. All right, a little bit of Mod Podge. And we're going to go right up this side. Kind of get this here too again on your fabric here because this piece is going to come across. You want everything secure. Okay, right straight on up to that other corner. And again, turn this around this way because I like to give my fabric a little pull at the edge. And kind of work it in like this. Start at the center and work out to the edges that way. I'm going to smear a little bit of that with my finger to get those two caught together. And this is something that you can do with kids. You know, they can make their own little book and draw their own little scribbles in it. You can get fabric that they like. Of course, everybody buys chips. You can use cereal boxes. You just have to cut it down to fit the size of paper that you want to use. And, you know, it's pretty inexpensive because a lot of these things people don't realize you already have in your house. All right, we're going to go for this last sign here with the Mod Podge. And straight across there, just like that. And we might have to redo some of these holes after this dries because we are going over them again, but we can see them from the other side. And pull that in. Smooth it down and out. Down and out. And you can do this with any fabric at all, any fabric. You can use old bed sheets, if the kids had cartoon sheets, if you've got a flower sheet, you know, any kind of old bed sheets, pillowcases, as long as they're thin, not the like flannel ones. You can use it, but it takes a lot of Mod Podge and it makes it really, really hard. So I'm going to leave that. I was tempted to cut that little tiny piece off down here because it's hanging over, but I'll have glue all over my scissors, so I'm going to let that go for now. This we just set to the side and let it dry. And that's one of the covers of our books. I am going to take a little and just poke that through there like that because I do not want that gluing shut. That one we'll have to redo too, just so we can see where they are. Push that one down. There we go. So that we keep our holes clear for when we come back to punch the holes in the fabric again. Okay, I'm going to set that one over here. All right, we're going to grab our other one and we're going to repeat that process. Let's go ahead and cut these corners off. And you could take and put a ruler down and use a rotary cutter if you like to cut this out. Some people like to do rotary cutters. Some people are scissor people. Some people are X-Acto knife people. You know, whatever means you use to cut, you can use that. I've been wanting to get one of those guillotine style paper cutters that they used to have back in school and cut paper with. I think it would make it easier for cutting this cardboard to size because it would have all the little, you know, inch markings and everything already on there. You just line it up and cut it. I do have like a manual paper cutter where you put the paper in, you slide it up and down, but I don't think it would do well with this cardboard. Cuts paper well, but you have to be careful cutting single sheets of paper at a time because you'll cut different sizes, like just tiny hair off, and then your book is kind of wonky, but it's handmade, so sometimes wonky is what you're going for. All right, turn this around so I can pull it. I always start in the center, smooth it down, and kind of work down and out, down and out. It keeps any little creases or folds or anything, you can smooth them right out as you go. And again, I've got little surprises for the corners. I have another book that's done up to this point, and I've already got the paper in it. I can show you how the paper goes in it and all. Yeah, because those are all stuck together. And one more side, and then we're going to set this to the side and let it dry. I did have a second book, but I didn't have enough paper for both, so we'll just show you what we do with this one. and continue on with another one that I'm making for my daughter. And actually I have two more that I can work at the same time. I probably won't finish them all on here, but I don't know why it doesn't have the thing at the top. Maybe I don't have it in here and I just see it outside. I don't know. I don't pay attention too much to the top of the screen and everything else. I just watch the comments. All right, we're gonna do that little push through trick with the tip of my pen here so that we don't have these, and this one's open here, so we'll leave that like that. I did have a little over glue, and this is what it will do. If you put a little too much on, it will look like a stain on the book, but we're going to use this for the back cover and it'll be okay. But that's just, and it's actually kind of more tacky gluey than it is soft fabric feeling when you do this. And I actually coated the outside of my daughter's book, and I'll show you the difference in those pages. Let me set these off to the side so we don't have our glue issue over here. Set these over here and let them dry. And I will take care of... No, we're going to still need that, so we're going to leave that right there. All right. We'll start with this one because this one's at the stage where we need to be. This is a book that is being created for someone else. I'll set these over here for now so I can get to all of this. These are the actual pages all dried, and then I've taken that metallic cardstock and glued to the inside. Once the fabric dries, you just Mod Podge the whole inside where your cardboard is, and then you lay this down, smooth it all out. Again, has to be set aside to dry because you don't want any glue leaching through this onto your pages and gluing your book shut. So we have two of these here already done and set and ready. And at this point, we need our paper. So I have probably about 250 sheets of paper here, and I've already put them through the hole punch, and everything lines up with the book. Got to make sure that the little holes here line up with the holes front and back, so everything all will attach together. Now at this point, I take my little dowels that I have cut to a little bit more than the width of the book. So what I normally do is I cut them a little long. I use them to put the book in. Once I get the pages and these in here, there is glue that I put every so often up this little stick so it glues the pages to the stick so it holds it all together. Then I will either take a small hacksaw that can be used for crafting and cut it off, or I will take and put a protective something down around the book so I don't catch this, the fabric, and I will use a little sanding block and just sand it down a little bit. But I take the dowels and I put them in, let it just lay on the table. I'll turn it around this way so you can see. And I just put them in those holes. And then I will take a little bit of my paper here that already has the holes in it, and I will slide them down over the dowels, almost like putting paper in a binder. Okay, and then you just keep stacking your paper until you've got all the paper in there that you want. You can use construction paper. I'm getting ready to do up another one with some construction paper. I can do a little video, but I was trying to get these books done because they were supposed to go out yesterday. And I didn't know that someone who was to receive them was to be around yesterday. I wasn't expecting it until this weekend. So we are trying to get these done so that they can be delivered this weekend. Welcome everyone that's coming in. We are making books today. My version of a book. I've made this for years. I have one over here that I made, I think back in, oh goodness, 2015, 2016, something like that. So I've been doing them like this for a while. And we are just going to keep stacking our papers in here until we have all of our papers. I think we can get this done here in the next stack. It gets all stacked on there. And of course I haven't been gluing, so I will go back and take this one apart and re-glue it. But I have another one over here that I've already glued the dowels as I went up. Okay, and then we will put the front cover on over those dowels. And then as you can see, we have a good bit. See if I can pick it up here so you can see. We have a good bit of the dowels sticking out of the top. So I just picked those up. And because we were on the table, they got pushed through the back side a little bit. This is where it becomes tricky, as I have my clamps outside. And my husband's going to make me a book press for this part. But you can see how the dowel sticks out a little bit on each side. This one here is a little poppy inny and outy, and this one here too, a little bit on each side. And of course these would be glued and they would be set aside to dry, leaving the dowels hanging like off the edge of the table so they don't get pushed back and forth. And when you do that, let's set this over here out of the way so I don't have my table too cluttered up to work on. You come up with something, and let me set these over here like this. And some of these pages didn't quite glue. And get this together here so you can see how the dowels, they are glued into the paper now. These aren't going to move. And I'm going to go ahead and put this other book cover. And you can see how it's kind of glossy from the Mod Podge being on the outside. I think I'm going to alter that and not put it on the outside. Just put it on, you know, in between the fabric and the cardboard. And we are going to pop these down here. Make sure our fabric goes down so that our binding catches it really good. Turn that over. And we will put this on here. Okay. Now, I am going to not glue these because I would have to let this sit and have to start this back up tomorrow because I don't have another book done to this point to where it's glued down. But I'm going to show you how I take the little strips, these little strips that I had cut, and these are going to be our binding strips. And I will show you how we're going to do that. Let me give you a visual of those binding strips. I have a book here. This is the one that I showed the last time. This book I made a while ago. And let's see if we can't bring this up a little bit. There we go. Gives me a little more space. This is a book that I had made, and this is the binding. This is fabric that covers these little things, and it binds the book together. So, and the other little thing that I needed to get, I didn't put this box back. I must have taken them out of there because they're not in there anymore. Let me jump over here and grab those because we're going to need them. Because I can go ahead and put those on here. Well, oh, where did they go? Here's what we need. Found it. All right, we are going to be using this black fabric and these to make the binding of our book. These are little fat quarters that I got at Walmart. They're only $1 and something. They do have these now at Dollar Tree. They have a $3 and $5 section, and I got a package that's got little bumblebees on it. They're so cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but we'll find out. So, and that's the problem with crafters. We see things and say, oh, I know what I can do with that. And then we hold on to it, and eventually we make something with it. All right. Now, we are going to be cutting out a section of this so that we can wrap around our book. We do not know exactly how long it needs to be. So we are going to cut a little bit because we need to make sure that it wraps over this and gives us enough to bind the book and wrap around the other one on the other side. So this becomes, let me get this up here to where you can see. There we go. I'm going to lay this in here so that I have enough to wrap over this edge by about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so we got our 3/4 of an inch there. We're going to give us the same amount of space here on the other side. So we are going to and I'm just going to make sure I don't cut this stuff underneath over there. Cut a length of this, and we will make the adjustments as we do our book up. I'll come to there. That should be way more than enough. Way more than enough. Set this aside. And then we have, I'm going to turn it sideways because I can seem to get it in the camera better that way. Again, we want to make sure, and I'm going to take both of these over here and make sure that we get them the right way so that I don't mess this part up. All right, these are the wrong ones. These are the ones I need. Okay, it goes this way. This way. towards the book. Okay, so they have to go this way. Oh, I didn't cut that. Yeah, they have to go this way. That way we've got the cardboard side towards the book. So what I'm going to do with this one, bring this back this way a little bit so you can see. I'm going to again take some of my Mod Podge, because we're using the Mod Podge as our glue. And we are going to put right down this side of this cardboard. I don't want to try and get it all over my fabric. I will get it on here and try not to get our fabric in it. Okay, we're going to put this down onto our fabric. And I'm going to press down and out. Hopefully we work those creases out of there. This side I'm not going to glue down just yet because I have to position this onto, bring this back a little bit, position this onto the book and then wrap this around the edge so that we can adjust this to fit. So I am going to have to do another one because I don't have one of these glued down. I should have had one of these glued down, but I don't. So yeah, I will do another video finishing these up tomorrow, and you'll get to see everything. I just take this and fold this in and get that to glue down there. And then again on this other side, we're going to bring this up, get it glued onto here. Another thing that I can go ahead and show you with my daughter's book, and these are the ones for those books over there. I gotta find which one of these goes over there because I can go ahead and put these on today. I just got to use these other ones. These go with that one over there because they're cut to fit the book that I just glued. So we're gonna set these over here and I'm gonna clean that glue up. Let that dry. And let's see here. A little bit of this. Clean this right up so we don't get it all over the outside of our book and then everywhere else. All right, I need that black fabric up here again. I'll bring this book here. Let's see here now. These need to be trimmed up a little bit too. Check and make sure that we got these oriented right. Okay, this one goes this way. And this one will go the other way. All right, slide that up. Put these here like that. Yeah. So that one has to go. Let me take this one first, glue that one down. Now I'm getting all wonky in the brain here. Got to make sure that I glue this down right so that it goes on right. And that one will go under there. Yep. Okay. Double check. What do they say in carpentry? Measure twice, cut once. Yeah. Come over here to where it's going to be glued down anyway. All right. And we're going to press that down right there. Pull my fabric there where that crease is. And this is the fun part. Sometimes you have to hold this for a minute. Okay, then I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to give this a trim because this is a lot of stuff to be working with. Get that out of our way. Take and trim these edges down. Give yourself about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Same on the other end. Alright. Now we're going to put a little bit of this. That's probably way too much. Let's scrape some of that off there. Just on your edges. As we're going to wrap this right on around here. Okay, get that to sit there for a minute so it stays. Oh, put your thumb in it. And take and glue that down there like that. Now I am going to put some on here to moisten this up because we are going to be placing this down on this book. And I want this to stick. And those dowels have already been ground down a good bit on that book. So this is going to fold over just like we did the other ones. This is going to be the fun part. And then you're going to take and line these, because you can feel them through here, the hole punches. And you're going to line them up. All right, and this one goes underneath the book, so we are going to have to I want you to be able to see how I'm doing this though. Okay, make sure you got your dowels through here. If you line it up with the edge of the book, you can feel it to put it down on there. And I'm skipped a step here. We need to put some more glue down along that edge there. I feel like Bob Ross now. The gentle little talking voice and some happy little glue. I don't know if he's got that trademark, so I better cut it out. But yeah, I like Bob Ross. I watch Bob Ross and I feel like I could paint a masterpiece, and I get paint stuff out and it looks like a 4-year-old did it. But I still do it. I like it. You just feel for those Lock them in there. Lock that in there. And we're going to push that down. And of course these are going to push through on the other side because I'm pushing on the table a little bit. And then we are going to turn this over. And you can see, well, no, you can't see. Oh, we gotta do this again. I think I might have to shave those down a little bit more because they seem to have moved and are pushing out through the back. But this is the point here. You get this to go onto the dowels, here, here, and here. And then when you flip it over, it wraps around and binds your book. Now here we can see, got a lot of dust from this table. We can see that this is going to lay right here where these dowels are, but we want to make sure, put it back in frame, Mel. You can see once we've got it wrapped around that we have a lot of extra, but we want to have enough to do that, a fold under. So what we're going to do is make sure that I got this here right. We're going to put this in here just gently for right now. And we're going to bring it up over the edge of this book and match it up. And we'll see where we need to cut it off. Okay. Get that to drop down not too far. Okay, now we got it right there along the edge. And we want enough to be able to turn it over. And that's about right there. So we are going to come out here. We're going to cut it a little bit bigger, and we'll probably have to cut it again, but I'd rather do it twice than have to take this, you know, do two cuts, make one long and one short, than to have to take this all off and start over. So we got that excess out of the way now, and we are going to slide this out here, and we're going to roll it over one time as if we were to have it covered and glued. And we are going to bring it up here and make sure that it's going to fit. And yes, it will. So now we're going to come back and we are going to glue that down right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take this and turn it over this way. Put some glue in that area. And we know we need it one thickness back from the edge so that we can roll it. We don't worry about our crafter's fingers because it'll wash off. All right, now we're going to turn this and we're going to double check and make sure. Yep, we want to put it right there. And if we need to make any little minor adjustments, we're not going to press it down just yet because we're going to double check again. And we do need to come just a little bit up. All right. Trying to make sure that I'm matching up with the dowels here, that I'm not got this too far back into the binding. There we go. And there we go. Okay. Right there is where we need to be. We're going to go ahead and glue down these edges right there. And we're going to come down here and do the same thing. Some glue on those edges. Okay. And then we're going to put some glue down the whole back, all the way down here like this. And we're gently going to fold this over this way as we put glue all over our fingers. I've done these with a wood binding, put a strip of wood here and stained it and wood burnt the names of the person that I was giving the book to. Done that. I did that a couple Christmases ago for all the grandkids. They had their own little book with their name on it, and they just thought it was great. So we have that there now. And I'm going to go ahead again. And instead of putting it on here, because here is where I've got a handle, I'm going to put it right in here on the book. And that's where the binding's going to go. And between these wooden dowels, the cardboard that's in there to go around the wooden dowels, and the glue. Once it's all set up, we will have, get that to go through there proper, a bound book. This is a little tricky part. But you can feel it slide down in there once it goes down in there. Sometimes because of the fabric, I normally punch holes in the fabric after this part dries. But I wanted to show you the completed book here. And this will have to have some weight on it to hold it down till the glue starts to take hold. And you have a bound book. Once you're finished, you have a bound book. And these are coming up. So yeah, I'm going to have to get my binder clamps and bind this up so it'll glue proper. So that is my version of a book. And I meant to show you another stage here. I'll show you that really quick. When I was talking about the corners, and I said that you really didn't have to be too cautious about the corners. This one needs a trim up. I have book corners. And I don't know which ones I want to use. I think I might use these little bronze ones on this book today. Let's pull one of these out. But these are the little embellishments that I have that I've purchased to put on my books. Pull one of these other ones out. This one I'll definitely put on the Slytherin book. They're book corners, metal book corners. They go on the corners of your book. I don't know, you can't see this as well. Here, this one won't go very well with this because it's silver and it just gets lost in it. It's a pretty little book corner. You can glue it on. I think for this one, I'm going to use these little corners, and they'll have to be pinched on with the plier. And let me see, I have little jewelry plier over here, but it gets put onto the corner and you just pinch it tight onto your book. Yeah, I'm going to use these on this one. And there's your little corner. Covers it up nice. You got the little protected edge so your corners don't get bent on your books. Yes. And yeah, the Slytherin one that I started making, I definitely will put these on the corners. And these I got off of, I think I purchased them off online. They were online purchase. I know it wasn't Amazon. I think it was like the Wish app. But yeah, I have tons of them. So yeah, this is how I make my books. I thank you all for coming, and happy crafting.